guys, so today I'm going to continue on with the Mongolian recipes series. I have been researching a lot about Mongolian food lately. I really love it, and I think the reason is because the food really, it goes back to the basics. It goes back to touch and feel. It's not necessarily recipes based, it's just what you have. It's, add enough water until the dough comes together. So it's very basic and you can flavor it as you wish. And today we are making Tsuivan. It is essentially kind of like a stir-fried noodles dish, and the noodles are actually more like strips of tortilla instead, and it makes for a really interesting recipe in this stir-fry. So I hope you guys all enjoy. So we're gonna start off with those tortilla noodles first, and I have about 1 cup of flour and a little bit over a 1/4 cup of water, along with a little bit of salt. Recipe is going to be down below as usual, and you just want to knead it for a couple of minutes until you get a nice smooth ball of dough, and then let it rest, cover it up, let it rest for about 30 minutes, and then we can prepare the rest of the stir fry. Okay, so now I have the proteins and the vegetables, and I'm doing 1/2 cup of soy curls that I am rehydrating in with some mushroom broth just for 15 minutes or so. And usually in the Mongolian version, what they'll do is they'll actually have dried meat that they will rehydrate. And so it would be actually cool if you guys had some sort of like a vegan jerky just to rehydrate that in some broth, and that should actually mimic that quite well, but I did not have that. And then in terms of vegetables, carrots, cabbage, some onions. It's very typical, traditional Mongolian vegetables. They use pretty much the same stuff. So put that off to the side so that you'll have it ready for the stir fry, and then we can go on and deal with the dough. So in the intro, I told you guys that the noodles were very similar to tortilla. And actually the method in doing this is very similar to how you'd prepare the wrap for like Peking duck. And we've done that recipe before as well. But to get these guys super thin, what you do is you essentially just roll it out to like an okay thickness, and you put oil in between each layer. And then afterwards, you roll them out all together until they get, pretty thin. And then you can actually cook them all together right on the skillet. So I'll show you guys that right after this. So this is a weird method, but this is how you can make the Peking duck wrappers as well. And you just want to put it over medium heat or so and just get it to slightly brown. You're not looking for anything crispy because these are going to become noodles afterwards. So just get them to about like a tortilla kind of texture. You can still bend them. They're not too hard at all. And what you do is as they cook, they kind of separate because of the oil and also the water vapor. And you just tear each piece off, and you want to cook kind of both sides, just a little bit. You don't need to get them that crispy at all, but just make sure that both sides have a little bit of color. So the rest of this is going to be very similar to a stir fry. We're going to start off on medium to medium high heat, and you just want to soften the onions just a little bit before adding in your carrots and your cabbage, and a couple minutes on that. Let that wilt down before you add in your soy curls. Now, if you find that the mixture is a little bit dry, which I definitely did, have some of that mushroom broth left over and just pour in a couple tablespoons at a time and just get these guys to wilt down a little bit, and then you can proceed on. So you saw that I salted that mixture a little bit. You want to give it a nice taste, right? And then a couple more tablespoons of broth go in, just because I'm putting in the dried noodles right now. And sometimes it's nice. They have a nice kind of like crispy texture to them, but they definitely need to be softened ever so slightly. So I added in a little bit of that liquid. I'm just tossing it in, and then maybe putting a lid on for like 2 to 3 minutes, just so that it'll soak up some of that flavor, soak up some of that sauce, and gel together. So yeah, that's pretty much the recipe, and you want to season to taste right before you eat it. But it's a very basic by feel, by taste type of stir fry. Still, crazy delicious. And the tortilla noodles add it's different. It's different than normal noodles. So I found that quite nice. Anyways, I hope you all have enjoyed this Mongolian recipe. Maybe we'll start exploring some of the dumplings that they have as well. So that'll be quite fun. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will be back with you guys again real soon. Bye!